Alright, so what we're going to look at here is doing the opposite of what we've been doing. And so we're going to be given a graph, and we want to write the inequality that matches up with the graph. So we still need, let's see if my pen will work here. Whoops. We still need a slope and a y-intercept because we're working with an inequality, which is pretty darn close to being a line. And so what I'm going to do is write down the letter M for slope and B for the y-intercept, and then I'm going to go ahead and find them. So I'm going to start on one of my dots, and you have to remember slope is rise over run, so I'm going to count up 1, 2, 3. Having a little bit of trouble with that. And my run is 1, 2. So my slope is 3 over 2. Now my y-intercept is going to be where this line crosses the y-axis, and this is my y-axis up here, right? So I'm looking at that dot right there, and that is the number 1 where it crosses. So my y-intercept is 1. Now the last thing that I need, since this is an inequality and not just a line, is to figure out what symbol that I need to use. And I determine it first by whether or not I shaded above or below the line. And in this case I shaded above the line. So that tells me that this is a greater than symbol. And then I look and see if my line is solid or dotted, and it's solid, so that tells me that it needs to be equal to. Okay, so I go ahead and write my inequality. I'm going to write y is greater than or equal to, I'm getting it from right here, my slope, followed by the letter x always, and then plus, since it's positive, 1. That's my y-intercept. And that's my inequality. Now if I wanted to check, let's see, let's get my eraser out here. We'll erase some of this junk off of there. If I wanted to check that I did the right thing, I could always try to graph the inequality that I wrote, and it's telling me to start at 1, so I'm going to start at 1. And it tells me to rise 3, 1, 2, 3, and run 2, 1, 2. Do you see how I ended right back on my line again? So that's good. If I tried to rise 3 and go over 2, I'd run out of room. So let's go back. Let's go down 3, 1, 2, 3, and over 2, right where I wanted it. Down 1, 2, 3, over 1, 2, right where I would expect it to be based on the inequality that I've written. So that tells me that I did good work there, and that that's the correct inequality. And of course I'm shaded above, and it's a solid line. Something that some people have trouble with, I'm going to erase everything that I have other than the graph. Some people have trouble deciding whether or where above and below the line are. And the way I think of this might sound silly to you, but this is really how I think about it, is that I think of this as kind of like a seesaw. So that, you know, there could be people hanging out on this seesaw here. You have the fulcrum in the middle, like that, right? Okay, so I think to myself, okay, if this was a seesaw, where would the top of the seesaw be? And in this case, the top of the seesaw is going to be right here with these people sitting on it, and below is going to be here. So if I'm shaded over here, this is greater than, that's the top. Think about it, if this guy right here, girl, whoever it is, actually like sat down hard and this person pushed up. So if this person pushed up and this person sat down hard, this seesaw would rotate this way, and so this would be the top. And that might sound goofy to think about a line as a seesaw, but it works for me, so maybe that'll work for you. Alright, so let's go ahead and take a look at another one here if I can clear that. Perfect. Alright, here we go. Number 2. We need a slope and a y-intercept, so I'm going to write M and B. And we'll get our inequality symbol here in a second. So this time I'm going to start at the higher of the 2 points. You can start at either one. Start there or there. And I could actually start at other lattice points, like I could start here if I wanted to, even though I didn't mark that before when I made this graph. You know, it's still there. I could use that. I'll show you that in a minute. So let's go ahead and rise and run. So, whoops, wrong thing. My rise, in this case I am going down. I'm going down 6. I'm going to make that a negative 6. And my run is positive 3. Right? So my rise over run is negative 6 over 3, but that reduces to negative 2. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. We can check to make sure that's actually true. If I start here again and I only go down 2 because my rise is negative 2, and then I run over 1, you see how I end up on my line? That's another point on the line I could have used. If I go down 2 over 1, you see how I end up? Down 2 over 1. Got it? Down 2 over 1, you get the idea. Okay, so that is my slope, negative 2 over 1. What's my y-intercept? Well, remember this is my y-axis, this one that's vertical, right? So I look and see where my line crosses. It crosses right there. It's hard to see with all this junk I have, but there's 1, 2, that's 3. So my I thought I changed pens. My y-intercept is 3. We'll just write right over top of that. Now, as far as my inequality symbol is concerned, when I erase, I think I'm going to erase. No, I'm not. Now I'm going to erase. I'm going to erase some of this stuff. As far as my inequality symbol is concerned, I have to figure if I'm shaded above or below. I'm going to use my teeter-totter example, or teeter-totter, seesaw. So here's a purple person and a purple person. Think about it. If this were to tilt, it's going to go this way. This is the top. This is the bottom. I'm shaded below, so that's less than. Less than looks like the letter L, right? Less than. Dotted line. I don't need the equal to bar, so that's it right there. So let's go ahead and write our inequality. We'll write it in some weird brownish red color. Y is less than negative 2. That's my slope. X plus 3. Alright, let's do another one. Ooh, this one's a little crooked. No big deal. We need a slope and a y-intercept and an inequality symbol. I'm going to start up top here. Rise is negative. What would that be? Negative 4. My run is positive 4. So I have negative 4 over 4. And if you're thinking ahead, you know that I'm going to make this a negative 1. Where does it cross the y-axis? Right there. That's 5. And then I'm shaded, think of the teeter-totter, I'm shaded down below. That's less than. Solid line. Equal to. And then I just put it all together for my answer. Y is less than, it looks like the letter L, right? Less than or equal to negative 1x plus 5. We're getting a lot of positive y-intercepts, aren't we? Up above 0, like that, positive 5. Okay, let's do some more. I think we have 2 more on here. Let's see. Number 4. Alright, we finally have a negative y-intercept. Let's see. Let's use a different color. I don't like that color. If we start right here, we are going to go up 2. We're going to go over, rise and run, right? Wow, that was bad. Over 6. So the slope is 2 over 6, which is 1 over 3. My y-intercept, let's use a darker color, that's bad. We use this blue. Y-intercept's right there, that's negative 3. And last but not least, well, my shading is above my teeter-totter. Seesaw, I keep saying teeter-totter. So that is greater than. I look at my line, it's dotted, so I don't need the bar for equal to. And then I just go ahead and write everything down. Y is greater than because it doesn't look like an L, 1 over 3x minus 3. Okay. One more time, let me show you if you're interested enough in checking your work to make sure you have the right answer. You should be, hopefully. Let's trace our graph and see if we end up where our inequality that we've written tells us we should end up. So let's see here. We start at negative 3, and it says go up 1 over 3, so up 1 over 3. Holy monkeys, it ends up right there. Up 1 over 3. right where I wanted it. Let's go backwards. Down 1 over 3 that way. Down 1 over 3. I'm hitting all kinds of lattice points on my line. So that's perfect. That means that I wrote the correct inequality. If I look at my symbol that's greater than, it's telling me shade up there, dotted line. It's perfect. Matches the inequality, the graph that I have there. So I'm good to go. Alright, real quick review here. As far as symbols, greater than or equal to looks like that. That would get a solid line you'd shade above. Greater than looks like that. It's a dotted line shaded above. And then we have the other two, which would be less than or equal to, shaded below, solid line because of this right here, right? And then just plain old less than, shaded below, dotted line. Remember, the less than sign looks like the letter L, so if you're confused about that, it's the best way to remember it. Okay, call it a day.